want to be real. Hello, Pops.
Pinocchio is Disney's 18th go at revisiting one of their beloved classics into what's become their signature live-action computer animation hybrid adaptation style. Despite having the incredibly talented Robert Zemeckis directing this one, Pinocchio lands firmly in the middle of that mediocre pack. Creatively, it clearly wrestles with adhering too closely to the superior 1940 version, while awkwardly trying to force the old-fashioned story to dip into a jarring modern voice. The result is a bland watch that feels like a big-budget movie made only for 6 to 12-year-olds. Co-screenwriters Zemeckis and Chris Weitz adhere to the same structure, sequences, and original songs from the animated movie. The only material changes here come from Zemeckis' decision to have some actors give live-action performances, like Tom Hanks' Geppetto and Luke Evans' Coachman, and placing some scenes in real standing sets. The rest is all computer animation. In some places, it works well, like the ethereal interpretation of the Blue Fairy with her delicate wings and blue glow, or the dappled lit streets and buildings of Geppetto's charming Italian town. But the film relies on a full cast of entirely computer-generated characters that vary wildly in their success. The digital fur on Honest John and his silent cat pal Gideon is far from realistic in a distracting way, which means the Uncanny Valley problem is strong with them. And narrator Jiminy Cricket is designed to be longer and less cherubic than his 2D animated counterpart, so he's more shiny and plastic looking, which translates to coming off as less endearing. He's also got a meta mouth on him that never quits, which doesn't help the overall issue of us bonding with the chronically calamity-prone Cricket. He's like a modern character shoehorned into the piece to be cool for today's kids. There are also some major sequences involving water that are undercooked visually. The integration of human actors into crashing waves or riding in boats is a major downgrade from what Zemeckis usually does in the medium. For those looking for what might be new in this Pinocchio, it's pretty minimal. There's the addition of a talking seagull and the young puppeteer Fabiana, who works for Stromboli and befriends puppet Pinocchio when he's kidnapped by her boss. She's given a marionette, Sabina, who gets her own song titled I Will Always Dance that is bouncy with a semi-samba vibe. And musically, legendary composer Alan Silvestri is responsible for the lush score that's undoubtedly the highlight of the film. Otherwise, this Pinocchio feels like a movie mandated to mirror far too closely the animated original, stifled from finding its own path. And plenty of modern storytellers have had fresh takes on the Pinocchio story, so it's not an impossible feat. Yet, this script doesn't try anything new, aside from the sweet addition of Fabiana and a slightly unexpected ending. Otherwise, it's like watching someone literally turn the 1940 movie, original designs and all, into a computer-animated version of essentially the same thing. Which begs the question, if there's nothing substantive worth changing from their previous take on Pinocchio to make it fit for this generation, why make this at all? Its fate will likely be to fade into the background like so many of these adaptations do. In Disney's latest remake of one of their classics, there's far too much fealty to the visuals and plot points of the 1940 animated Pinocchio, yet the script clearly bristles at being beholden to its old-fashioned constraints. The result is an occasionally beautifully rendered film with a schizophrenic script that alternates between old-timey twee and being too hip for itself meta. Aside from a sort of surprising ending, director Robert Zemeckis is basically doing a paint-by-numbers version of the studio's much better original, just with modern animation and Tom Hanks. And while Tom always tries his best, even he can't make this redo memorable on its own merits. For more reviews, check out what we thought of DC League of Super Pets and Lightyear. And for everything else, stick with IGN.